Talk about plants already.
We're dying to get in the garden. We can't wait. We're taking your questions today for Lisa Briggs.
And you can still email us at tips@channel3000.com.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Lisa. Happy Spring Eve.
Yes.
I know, right?
What's happening, though?
This is, I don't know. It's either spring of deception or third winter.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
sure. It's probably
winter,
third
right,
winter is
right,
here.
right.
Great. Well, we do have some plant questions
Yes,
for you.
let's get to those.
So for the past several years, Robert says he's wintered amaryllis bulbs with hopes of blooms in the spring. Several of them never rebloomed, and he wants to know, should I keep them or just throw them away? And he says, thank you.
Well, thank you, Robert. So amaryllis bulbs need a rest period. So best thing to do is keep those strappy leaves growing through the summer, fertilize them regularly, and then about September 1st, you want to take them out of the soil, cut back the leaves, and let them rest for 12 to 16 weeks. That's what sets the flower bud inside the bulb. If you don't do that and just keep them green and growing, they won't ever flower. So keep them going well, Robert, through the summer, and then try giving them a dormancy period and see what happens.
Okay. Here's a question that'll have us thinking about spring and summer. Tropical hibiscus. She wants to know, how do you cut back leggy tropical hibiscus, and when do you recommend I begin fertilizing it with Miracle-Gro?
So tropical hibiscus, I'm assuming they've been in the house if they're leggy, and you could go ahead now that things are actively growing and shear that back evenly. Do your cuts just above a bud, preferably a bud that's facing out of the plant, not into the plant, so it doesn't get congested. And as far as doing the fertilizing, I would start with a slow release fertilizer rather than Miracle-Gro. That works well when the plants are outside in the summertime because it's always raining, so it flushes slow release furniture out of the soil. But for right now in your house, because these cannot go outside until I would say end of May, early June, I would use a slow release like Osmocote or whatever your favorite one is.
Late May, early June is also when I like to be outside, so I get it. Well, Anne planted some petunia seeds, and she wants to know, should I trim them so they fill out more as they grow?
Well, Anne, I would, without seeing them, it's hard to tell. I would, though, say that you want to make sure that they're getting plenty of light. That's what's gonna get them to keep bushy. Also, petunias need a particular kind of fertilizer. So there is a fertilizer, water soluble, that's specifically for petunias. So stop into the garden center and pick that up, and I'd fertilize them with that.
Okay. All right. Very good. Morgan has a question. What is it here? Oh, is it beneficial cost-wise to grow your plants for summer from seeds, or should you just go to a place like the Bruce Company and buy them partially grown?
Well, it depends. Seeds for sure are economical because you get a lot of plants. But if you like variety, like you want to grow, a half a dozen different tomatoes, and you have to buy a half a dozen different bags of seeds, then you could go ahead and buy singles of each one, and it's probably about the same.
Okay.
I do little plants because I'm not home enough to babysit seeds, which require a certain level of care to keep them growing and healthy until you can put them outside and plant them in your garden. So if you're that person, much better to get the little starter plants.
Okay.
And our next question, this person says they have a rather tired patch of daylilies that probably should be divided. Wants to know, can I dig them this spring, or are they better left for later this summer? Oh, that's from Mike.
Oh, daylilies are super adaptable. They're just like hostas, the same thing. So once you can get your shovel in the ground and you're starting to see some buds coming up, go ahead and dig out that clump. Make sure you have a sharp, flat shovel, cut them in half or in quarters, and then just replant them. They'll be just fine.
Is there anything we can be doing now to be getting ready?
Well, getting ready, you'd want to, hold off on doing any big yard work. The ground is still cold and really wet, especially after this rain. But if you have succumbed to the temptation of pansies, which a lot of us have.
Guilty as charged.
Absolutely. What you want to do is just have a plan for what you're going to be doing with them as the temperature rises and falls.
What's our plan?
Pansies are pretty hardy, usually till around freezing. If the night's going to get much colder than 32, you're going to want to move them in the garage or in the house for the evening. When the temperature gets better, you can put them back outside. The other thing is with these warm temps, as things start to develop, and then we get hit by colder periods, there can be damage. So have some sheets or some floating row covers or big pots that you can put upside down over plants to protect them from the cold nights.
Very good. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Lisa. Happy spring.
You too.